face on them. Let's go. Ferguson goes down. It's a terrific leaping catch. To shake it down. Unbelievable. Hey, baby. Woo. Takes the ball away from him. I know you believe in me. That's all I ever need. No, nothing's gonna stop it. Nothing will scare me. Oh no. Hey, baby. It's the only way out. Oh, little darling. Come on. What's it all about? Standing on top of the world for a little while. Standing on top of the world, gonna give it all we got. And down the stretch they come. Oh yes! He takes the timeout. Hey baby! Wow! Woo! We'll be standing on top of the world for a little while.
In a memorable year in sports, we look back at the ones who came out on top, the teams who won it all, and the greats of the game who once again shine. Those who burst onto the scene to grab the spotlight, and of course the one who left at the top of his game. So join us as Sports Illustrated presents The Year in Sports 1993, beginning with the NFL playoffs in January.
I'll tell you what, man, just like any heavyweight fight, someone's got to throw the first punch. And I'll tell you what, let's not wait around, let's deliver, not accept. Let's go.
Hit! Bring it! It ain't no surprise! It ain't no surprise!
You can rush the quarterback.
He sucked the game!
You understand? Rush the quarterback.
They pressure him and they say,
Look at it.
hey, what? Oh, boy. Come on! Man, did you see that collision?
The road to 1993 Super Bowl was as fast and furious as ever.
Let's go out and let's show them how it's done. Oh, baby, what a play! Put that sucker in your VCR. That guy open is caught. Touchdown! They're pumped up, man. We're pumped up too. Oh, this is incredible. This is one of the very best. Cuts inside the 20, brings another tackle. Down the sideline to the 30, streaking to the sideline to the 10. He's got it all around. He steps it in. Swan dives into the end zone.
In the AFC, winning came hard for the Buffalo Bills. The two-time defending conference champs took more hits than in recent years and had to begin the playoffs with backup quarterback Frank Reich.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's playoff time. The Bills and the Oilers ready to get it on in an AFC wildcard game.
1, 2, 3,
With the Oilers completely in sync, the Bills almost didn't get past the first round as Warren Moon led Houston to a staggering 32-point lead.
touchdown!
They were just perfect. Warren Moon was as good as he's ever been in any half of football in his career.
Near sideline, Jeffries at the 5, he's in, touchdown! Well, you know, the lights are on here at Rich Stadium. They've been on since this morning. You can pretty much turn them out on the Bills right now.
We were sitting there, God, what happened? We're getting blown out by these guys. And we were just like, what are you going to do next week? Where are you guys going? You guys going golfing?
Some guy comes over to me and he says, hey, you mind if I use your phone? I'm so-and-so from a Houston TV station. I said, yeah, fine, go ahead. So he picks up the phone and he calls his travel agent and he makes a non-refundable airplane reservation for the following weekend to go to Pittsburgh. And I even said to him, I said, good move.
And to be quite honest, at that point, when we were down by 32, in my mind, it was just kind of trying to make it respectable.
They get
Eventually, the Bills would make it more than respectable, mounting the greatest comeback in the history of the NFL.
You could almost sense something in the air at the stadium. I mean, it was strange.
Four-man rush, drops back in the pocket, sails it long, Beebe at the 10, at the 5, in for the touchdown. Looking to throw, rolls out, throws, down there is Reed at the 5, in for the touchdown. And now the Bills trail by 11 points, 35-24.
Bang, bang, bang.
He looks, he throws, Reed, touchdown.
Then boom, 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 right after another.
Back to throw, he looks, he throws, touchdown.
And then we were like, man, this is unbelievable.
Bills can win it here. Wright puts it down. The kick is on the way, and it is good. And the Bills have won it. The Bills have won it. They win it 41-48. What a comeback by the Bills.
You're playing games to find out who are the contenders and who are the pretenders.
I like for our teams to have a little swagger about them. I like for them to be somewhat cocky and confident.
Oh, what a play!
That is a mark of a champion.
With Troy Aikman leading the offensive charge, the class of the NFC was clearly the Dallas Cowboys.
We'd like to think of ourselves as an aggressive offense.
And his man wide open.
An attacking offense.
Catch it all. He's still going. He's going to score. He's got the 5. It's a touchdown.
Number one with the Cowboys, everybody talks about Aikman and Emmett and Michael Irvin, but you always come back to defense, an absolutely tremendous, suffocating defense.
Throughout their championship charge, the Cowboys rode their ferocious defense, which was ranked number 1 in the league.
We have a nasty attitude in this defense. We're stripping the ball. We're tackling you hard. We're going to take your head off.
Cowboy defense, unconscious.
In the NFC Championship, it was Steve Young who was nearly knocked unconscious as Dallas upset the 49ers to go to the Super Bowl.
How about them Cowboys?
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the greatest show in sport. From the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, it's the Bills and the Cowboys in Super Bowl 27.
Nice day to be world champions today, wouldn't you think?
How about them Cowboys, huh?
The night before the Super Bowl, Jimmy went into his team meeting with his players, and he said,
Let's just make sure we're focused, and they'll turn the ball over.
Throw it in the end zone. Intercepted.
They'll turn the ball over,
And a fumble on the play.
and they'll turn the ball over.
Throws the ball out. Intercepted by Everett at the 30.
And it happens. I mean, he started turning the ball over, and everybody looking around like, oh, he's a voodoo man or something. You know, what's going on?
Jim Kelly was totally unable to cope with two things. One, the different looks he was seeing defensively.
Kelly's going to throw. Here's Haley. Hit him and picked off in the air. Jimmy Jones intercepts and rolls in for a touchdown.
And two, the different kinds of rushes he was seeing.
Coming after him. And here's the quick pass, and they are in on Kelly.
He's holding his knee.
And he is hurt.
I think it was just, it was a gimme game for Dallas at that point.
Aikman to Irvin. Dallas touchdown. Throws it right to the goal line. Irvin jumping, catches the 3. Diving, touchdown.
For 60 minutes, the Cowboys were relentless. In the end, a 52-17 rout of the Bills.
Ken Norton runs it in. It's a touchdown.
We've come an awful long way from 1-15, 3-13, from being kicked around. Now we were number 1. We were doing the kicking around. We were the very best in football.
It was a feeling of satisfaction, and we finally reached the pinnacle of our profession. Words can't describe it. It was unbelievable.
What a ride it's been. Troy Aikman's the MVP, and Dallas, your Cowboys are the champions.
How about them Cowboys?
Great catch for a touchdown. He is gone. Touchdown.
When the smoke cleared on the college football season, the battle for #1 took place in the Sugar Bowl on January 1st.
A lot of people didn't respect us going into that game.
Alabama was a team that everybody knew was going to come in second place in this game.
Got a touchdown, Miami!
They gave us no chance.
Miami's going to win the Sugar Bowl, and I'm not even sure exactly who they're playing. It'll probably be about 48-0.
We knew if we played and played well, we could beat Miami. This is Alabama's opportunity to gain respect.
They had to go right up the gut, and they did it right from the start.
I think he goes right up the middle.
Run at Miami.
Go to Lassick. Power football to the left side. Big play here for Lassick.
Nothing fancy.
And up the middle goes Lynch. Inside the 5.
And we dominated them physically.
Lassick. Touchdown.
While the Tide rolled on offense, its defense stopped Miami cold.
That defense just swarmed and attacked.
And they eat him up inside.
Especially humbled was Gino Torretta, Miami's Heisman Trophy-winning quarterback.
By Teague. George Teague to the end zone. Touchdown.
Toretto hardly knew what it was like to lose. But suddenly, in the biggest game of his career, the guy's seeing something he's never seen before.
For Alabama, a thoroughly convincing 34-13 win. A national championship for the Crimson Tide.
Runs him down. Takes the ball away from him. Teague's got the ball.
They dominated Miami the way I have not seen a Miami team dominated in years. And I think it was all the more of a domination because it was completely unexpected.
They talked the talk, but they just couldn't walk the walk.
When the college basketball season tipped off, the race for #1 was wide open.
So he'll cut it loose. Watch out. He's going to get the find.
At one time or another during the year, 6 schools were ranked #1, and in April, 4 of those met to decide the national championship. It was a gathering of college basketball's elite when North Carolina beat Kansas in one semifinal.
Stop, pops the 3, gun.
While Michigan powered past Kentucky to set up a clash of 2 heavyweights for the national championship.
The final game. They have done it.
One more game. We're bringing it all home. One more game.
2 teams, 2 distinct styles, but only one could claim the crown.
There probably can't be a bigger contrast in college basketball than the one between Michigan and North Carolina. North Carolina is patterned, system, everything planned. Michigan was improvisation, kind of like a pickup game on a playground. For people who like to see differing styles of play, this was your ultimate game.
Come on, Leo! Weber steals the ball. Weber off to the races. Here we go. Chris goes in, slams it through. Weber with the steal and jam.
They seem to get themselves going off dunks. It seems to be almost like a light switch that gets their energy pumped up.
High post right, alley-oop to Weber, slam it through!
Oh yeah, definitely. It gets our crowd going. It gets the whole game back to exciting and gets everybody pumped.
He'll go in all alone, slams it
While
through.
Michigan stayed inside, the Tar Heels countered with the dead-eye shooting of Donald Williams.
A lot of pushing going on down in low. Williams, wow. Now Donald Williams to the baseline, shooting on the move and scoring.
My teammates recognize that and they do a good job of screening for me and really giving me the ball when they see I have the hot hand.
Was able to come down and drain one shot I thought was about from half court.
To Williams on the right side. Donald spots up for a 3, got it.
Coach Smith kind of gave it like that kind of look.
Like 2 titans, the teams battled evenly down the stretch, trading baskets and dreams with the national title on the line. eventually setting the stage for one of the most dramatic moments in tournament history.
73-71. Sullivan shooting to give Carolina a 3-point lead. 20 seconds remain. Sullivan's free throw is no good. Rebounded by Weber. Michigan out of timeout. And Weber, front court. Carolina thought he'd travel with it. Weber, front court. Carolina was foul. He takes the timeout. They're out of timeout. Technical foul. Technical foul.
I dribbled down the court looking for someone, and then my automatic reaction is to call a timeout and set something up. So I did that, and obviously we didn't have any timeouts left. And at that point, it was just, that was probably the lowest point of my life right there.
A huge mental mistake.
Nothing you could have said could have affected me. At that time, all I was thinking was, God, why would you let this happen to me?
A few seconds later, the national championship belonged to the Tar Heels.
For three. No good. Front of the rim. Lynch with the rebound. Outlet to Phelps. It's over. Carolina. The Tar Heels have won the national championship right where they won it 11 years ago.
North Carolina's victory was well earned. But if there's one play from the tournament that will live on, it's Weber's ill-timed timeout.
All I was practicing for was 20 seconds of life, and I wouldn't have practiced as hard as I would. I wouldn't play basketball. I'm more than 20 seconds of a person and more than 20 seconds of a man. I made a mistake. It hurts. But it didn't make me any less of a player. It didn't make Michigan any less of a team. We lost the game. That was unfortunate. But we all make mistakes. I just made mine in front of, 20 million people.
In 1993, some of the year's more memorable moments were also some of the funniest.
Silence!
Is that on? And now an up-close look at some very close calls. We begin with John Kruk's brush with death at the All-Star game. Although the Phillies' first baseman didn't exactly have an All-Star at bat, at least he lived to see another day.
He knew that was coming. John had no chance.
Incredibly, Rusty Wallace lived to race another day after this crash, although a few weeks later, he did give fans an encore performance. Meanwhile, the Reds' Jose Rio gave it to the crowd at Chicago's Wrigley Field, while teammate Tom Browning decided to give in and join the crowd across the street during a game.
How can that be?
During a promotion in Houston, fans did their best Charles Barkley impersonation. But alas, there's only one Charles.
But the difference is they won't look as good as I do being bald. Because I look good bald, and they going to be ugly with hair or bald.
Speaking of ugly, a fan at Madison Square Garden scored an apparent goal for the New York Rangers by throwing a puck into the net from the stands.
Got to put him in a Looney Tune bit. Wow.
Not to be outdone, a New York Yankee fan assisted on a Don Mattingly game-winning home run by taking the ball away from Orioles right fielder Mark McLemore.
Mattingly, unbelievably.
But even he was topped by this Yankee fan who ran onto the field and canceled what would have been the game's last out. With new life, the Yanks staged a dramatic 2-out, 3-run rally for a very weird win.
Here's the throw to the plate. The Yankees have won it.
In Philly, this rendition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game turned into Take My Baton at the Ball Game. While finally in Chicago, Bulls fan Don Calhoun won $1 million with this 1 in a million shot. So who needs Michael Jordan? 1993 saw its share of memorable bouts and menacing boxers. And among the best were three of the most powerful punchers in the sport.
Tonight is lights out for you, baby.
Two more uppercuts in there. Roy Jones. Great left hand was spectacular. De La Hoya attacks again. It should be stopped. Oscar De La Hoya with an impressive...
It was a year of power and guts, and in the end, only the strong survived. The two best pound-for-pound fighters in the world finally met in September, when Pernell Whitaker made the most of his long-awaited battle with Julio Cesar Chavez.
He won it hands down. It really, he keeps backing Chavez up, which no one's ever done.
Countering to the body and coming back with combinations to the head. Whitaker follows with the left.
It was a great fight, just an extraordinarily bad decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a draw.
Among the big boys, WBC heavyweight champion Lennox Lewis defended his title in October with a courageous knockout of fellow Englishman Frank Bruno.
See if he can finish. Bruno in serious trouble. He's the most popular fighter.
Meanwhile, George Foreman pounded Pierre Coetzer in typical Foreman fashion. But then Big George lost to Tommy Morrison in what may have been his final bout.
Last round, they ain't no more. And Morrison comes back with a left hook.
And new champion, Tommy.
Morrison defended his WBO title by knocking out Carl the Truth Williams. But soon after, Tommy looked like a liar when Michael Bent dropped him with a shocking first-round knockout.
On the verge of a big moment, and he's got it. That's it. A first-round KO for Michael Bent.
None of those heavyweight bouts, however, lived up to the shootout in Las Vegas.
Swing and swing after the bell.
Like they had the previous November, Riddick Bowe and Evander Holyfield again turned in the fight of the year.
It would shock the world. Stuns Bowe again. And the round comes to a close. The bell saving Riddick Bowe from further punishment.
The night also provided the spectacle of the year. Incredibly, a parachutist crashed into the ring in the middle of the 7th round and disrupted the fight for more than 20 minutes. Startled but unharmed, the two fighters regrouped and resumed their hostilities.
Throws mouthpiece out with a left hook. This is it. Holy.
In a 12-round decision, Evander Holyfield regained the crown he lost to Bowe a year ago.
And once again, heavyweight champion of the world, Evander Holyfield.
1993 is the year the NBA welcomed the Shaq. If there was one thing I learned and learned quickly, these guys are serious.
In the NBA playoffs, Michael Jordan and the Bulls breezed past the Atlanta Hawks and then finished off the Cleveland Cavaliers in typical Jordan style. The Bulls' much-anticipated battle against the New York Knicks was next, but what was unexpected was the play of John Starks.
Starks was hitting him coming off picks, pulling up on fast breaks with somebody in his face all alone. There was just nobody that could stop him.
Starks. Yes! What a move by Starks, who was able to sky to the basket.
The Garden at that point just erupted, and if anyone would have taken any bets that any team beside the New York Knicks were going to be the Eastern Conference champions would have been silly.
Down 2 games to none, Chicago won at home, setting up a crucial Game 4.
Get even in this series, they needed a game where Jordan was going to go out and win it himself, and that's just about what he did.
Jordan, tongue dangling, hang, up, scores! He just looks like he might be unstoppable.
Jordan was unstoppable. His 54 points helped send Chicago back to New York tied at 2, where in Game 5, the Knicks trailed by a point as time ran down. Up 3 games to 2, Chicago closed out the Knicks and moved 1 step away from its 3rd straight title. Meanwhile, out west, league MVP Charles Barkley and the Phoenix Suns finished the regular season with the NBA's best record. But in round 1 against the lowly Lakers, the Suns found themselves a game away from elimination.
We're down 0-2, and I know the next question is, are you guys dead? No, we're going to win the series. We're going to win one Tuesday, and the next game's Thursday. We'll win there. Then we'll come back and we'll win the series on Sunday.
The Suns proved Paul Westphal a prophet, winning their 3rd straight game to take the series.
I don't want to take credit for it. They played. I mean, all I did was pop off. I'm just glad they made me look good.
Phoenix continued to look good, knocking off San Antonio and then Seattle to set up the title bout between the game's 2 biggest stars, Charles Barkley and Michael Jordan.
I don't really think it mattered to us who we were playing, but I think for the fans and for the media, it was a great matchup. But I think if you want to be successful, you don't compete against the other team, whether they're the champions, whether they got great players. I think if you want to be successful, you got to just compete against yourself. And we were just happy to get there.
Happy to get there, but unhappy at what happened at home.
Pass for Grant. He drives it. Charles backs into the lane. Rejected by Scott Williams.
2 Suns losses in Phoenix gave the Bulls a decided advantage and set up a memorable Game 3 when the series moved to Chicago.
2 sluggers up in a home run contest. It's just going to go on and on. Who can make more big plays? Who can make more dramatic efforts?
Every shot was crucial, and that's what you live for when you play basketball.
Just a game where neither team wanted to go down.
It was an emotional up and down roller coaster. Every play was significant.
Got his own rebound back and lays it in.
Like 2 heavyweights, the teams battled toe-to-toe for 4 quarters and 3 overtime periods, neither able to knock the other out, until Dan Marley started throwing haymakers.
6th three-pointer.
Just kind of playing above the floor. You just kind of, you're not really thinking about whole lot. You're kind of in an unconscious state. You're just out there having fun.
Down the stretch, Barkley iced the victory, tightening the series at 2 games to 1. Unfazed, Jordan responded like a champion.
Game 4 was Michael Jordan saying, I'm not going to lose this game.
He simply took the game on his shoulders and he said, you know, they're going to overplay me at the wing. I'm just going to take it to the basket.
Jordan quickly by him.
Attack the basket time and time again.
Jordan will drive again.
He was just running him over.
Now to Jordan quickly by him.
And Phoenix tried to stop him, but he just had it in him that he was not going to be stopped.
In the end, it was a 55-point ambush and a 3-1 Bulls lead. After staying alive in Game 5, the Suns put on the heat in Game 6. But just when it looked like Phoenix would force a Game 7, the Bulls overcame a 2-point deficit with just 4 seconds to play.
I was just kind of hanging around the three-point line. I got a clean look at the basket and had my rhythm and just let it go, and certainly tops the list of shots I've ever made.
Moments later, the Bulls were champions again.
Knocked away by Grant. It's all over. The Chicago Bulls have made it 3 straight NBA champions.
months after the season, however, Chicago's joy turned to sorrow when Michael Jordan shocked the sports world by announcing his retirement, ending perhaps the greatest career in NBA history.
Coming into the city of Chicago, it wasn't a bright situation. We were not on top. We were not even in the middle. All they had to say was wait until next year. And it gives me great gratification that during the time that I played a game of basketball here in the city of Chicago, they don't have to say that anymore. You know, they got bragging rights all over the country. Now it can be known as a championship team. It's not because I don't love the game. I love the game of basketball, I always will. I just feel that I don't have anything else for myself to prove. When I get to a pinnacle and I feel that my skills are still good, I'm not starting on the downside of my career, I want to walk away from the game. And it's been very fortunate that I'm on top. And I'm coming off 3 championship seasons. This is the perfect timing for me to walk away.
It was an honor to play with a guy that was that talented and meant so much to a city, to an organization, to the game of basketball itself. I just am so honored to have played alongside of him.
No one could believe what Michael Jordan could do on the court. I couldn't even believe it half the time, but after I've seen it for so many times, it was like, I guess he's real. I had to touch him a few times to make sure.
I know the kids are going to be disappointed, but hopefully they learn that basketball is great to play it. It's an enjoyment, it's a fun, it's a hobby. But there's a lot to life other than sports.
Life in the NHL is fast, furious, and not for the faint of heart.
In the regular season, the hockey world was stunned by the news of Mario Lemieux's battle with Hodgkin's disease. But after missing 24 games, it was Lemieux's performance that was stunning, as the game's greatest player quickly returned to form.
Just have to focus on them all. Here comes Lemieux. He scores!
Once again, Lemieux led the league in scoring and had the Penguins gunning for a 3rd straight Stanley Cup, until they ran into the upset-minded New York Islanders.
Overtime. There's no margin of errors in overtime. It's do or die.
This team loved to play under pressure. There's some kind of fake going on there.
We felt overtime was our time.
Overtime was prime time for the Montreal Canadiens, who won 10 straight playoff games in OT, including 3 against Wayne Gretzky and the LA Kings in the Stanley Cup Finals. After soundly losing Game 1, Montreal again found themselves trailing Kelly Hrudey and the Kings in Game 2, until Jacques Demers decided to gamble.
And we knew that Marty McSorley had an illegal stick.
We've got something critical going on here. It's a stick measurement. You're allowed a half-inch curve. That is the device that measures the curve.
Jacques took a chance.
If he is guilty of playing with an illegal stick, the LA Kings will be penalized and Marty McSorley will have to sit for 2 minutes.
Come on. It's illegal. Yes!
Marty was playing with an illegal stick. We called it. Then next thing you know,
Desjardins shot. Stop!
we scored on the power play, then scored in overtime again. overtime was back in our favor again.
Two more overtime wins in games 3 and 4 allowed Montreal to win the cup in the Forum.
24th Stanley Cup banner will hang from the rafters of the famous Forum in Montreal. The Canadiens win the Stanley Cup.
Now it's time for our 1993 Dubious Achievement Awards. For those athletes who prove that it's not whether you win or lose, but how poorly you played the game. We begin with Jose Canseco. In 1993, the Rangers' controversial outfielder thrilled fans by doing his famous Pele impression. If that wasn't enough, Jose later did his Wild Thing impression, injuring his arm and missing the rest of the year. Way to use your head, Jose. Our If at First You Don't Succeed award goes to pitcher Anthony Young of the New York Mets, who set a major league record for futility by losing 27 consecutive games. In August, AY's streak mercifully ended, giving the lowly Mets their lone highlight of the season. Rain delay honors go to the Florida Marlins grounds crew, who made covering the baseball field look about as easy as nuclear physics. Later, it was reported that Florida traded 2 groundskeepers for an umbrella to be named later. An award for the terrible timeout goes to the Miami Hurricanes, who stayed in their huddle just a bit too long.
They give it in. Miami did not get back on the floor in time.
Tie game right here, and the clock is running.
Sure doesn't look like they spent too much time in that huddle setting up the offense.
John Edwards strip. McCullough has got time. Gets it ahead. Antoine Jones plays it in. Oh, unbelievable. I have never seen that happen.
Our final award goes to the Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl show-off, Leon Lett.
And fumble. And Leon Lett.
Hey, Leon, if there is a next time, don't even think about letting up. Baseball 1993 was filled with some incredible individual moments.
Barrett throws, it's over! And Bosio has done it! Makes a drive to left field, it's well hit, it is going, it is gone! Home run number 400 for Andre Dawson. Goes McRae, wow! And the ground ball to short. Velarde, he did it. That is a smash into left center field, way back, and a grand slam. He has hit another home run. Oh, into right field. Did he do it again? 3 home runs for Mark Witt. Into center field. Did he? Yes! His 4th home run of the game. He has 12 RBIs. Unbelievable.
The season's end saw the career end for 3 of the game's biggest stars, all of whom would likely gather again in Cooperstown. Meanwhile, Barry Bonds had a year that belongs in Cooperstown. His quick start led San Francisco to a 10-game lead over Atlanta. But in July, the Braves caught fire with the acquisition of Fred McGriff, whose presence helped ignite Atlanta's bats, as the Braves eventually overtook the Giants and won the division on the last day of the season. Joining Atlanta in the playoffs were the Philadelphia Phillies, the Chicago White Sox, and baseball's defending champions, the Toronto Blue Jays.
He pulled it and then some. Hit in the air, deep to right field. At the wall. Home run. Lenny Dykstra on the run to the warning track. Leaps and makes the catch. At the wall. Great leaping catch. Guzman wins another battle. Tim Batiste goes from goat to hero in a matter of minutes.
The 1993 Fall Classic got off to a classic start, with the team splitting the first two games.
Lob down the right field line, a great catch by Alomar. Dykstra on the move at the warning track. Alomar, shallow right center, and he makes a terrific leaping catch.
Game 1 saw reliever Al Leiter shut down the Phils, while teammates Devon White and John Olerud delivered the decisive blows in an 8-5 victory. The next night, Jim Eisenreich's 3-run homer capped a 5-run third inning for the Phils as they escaped Skydome with the series tied at 1 game each. Back in Philly, the Blue Jays adjusted to life without the designated hitter. That meant batting champ John Olerud was out and Paul Molitor was in and contributing, starting with his first at-bat.
Fast in right center and in for a hit, and on the wet turf it scoots past Eisenreich to the wall. Henderson is in, and Molitor has a triple.
I was able to concentrate better than I have in a long time in terms of every at-bat, having an idea of what I wanted to get done. And thankfully, because of our lineup, had a lot of opportunities to get significant hits.
On this night, another of Molitor's significant hits helped the Jays to a 10-3 rout and a 2-1 lead in the series. Game 4 saw runs rain down all night long in the biggest slugfest in World Series history.
It was just a great game. It was like watching the greatest heavyweight fight of all time. I mean, guys pounding at one another, round after round.
We got off to a great start, 3 runs.
Well hit, base hit. White is in.
They come back with 4.
In the air to center. Racing back. At the wall. Can't get it.
2 great teams going at it. Not one of them giving up.
Stalker's relay. Out at third.
As the momentum swung from one team to the other.
Well hit down the right field line toward the pole. It is a home run. But Stottlemyre can't do anything to stop the bleeding.
It was just one of those things where if the Thunder doesn't get you, then the Lightning will.
That's why they did it. Base hit. Butler will have a chance to score the go-ahead run. And
We would challenge. They would challenge. They came out hitting the ball, smoking. We came out hitting the ball, and the best men win.
And he hits one deep to right. Forget about it. Way out of here. Dykstra, his second home run.
Eventually, the Phils pulled ahead by 5.
It looked like they had it in the bag. In fact, the Blue Jays made some moves on the field that conceded the game to the Phillies, literally. But then you never know with those Blue Jay bats. They just came back, one hitter after another.
Down 14-9 in the 8th inning, Toronto pounded the Phillies pitchers and pulled to within 1 run with 2 outs and 2 on.
Little looper, long run for Dykstra in right center, can't get it. Borders around with the tying run. Henderson to the plate with the go-ahead run.
The great ball clubs always win those 1-run ball games. And you look at Game 4, it was a 1-run ball game.
Curt Schilling kept the Phils alive in Game 5, pitching a shutout to send the series back to Toronto with the Jays up 3-2. But Sky Dome looked like Sky Doom for the Phils, as MVP Paul Molitor and the Jays coasted to a 5-1 lead through 6 innings. Suddenly, however, Lenny Dykstra brought the Phils back to life with a 3-run blast. 5 batters later, Philadelphia led 6-5, a lead they protected into the ninth. That's when things really got wild.
We knew something wild was going to happen. He didn't get his nickname by going out there and going 1, 2, 3. The very first pitch, and he's ready to throw the ball home. The umpire calls timeout. He doesn't see it. The umpire's going this way. Ricky's going that way, and Dalton's running the other way, and he's going to throw the ball home. And right then we said, hey, look out. Says something's going to happen. And he walked Ricky on 4 pitches.
Williams walks Henderson on 4 pitches to open the ninth. Line into center, falling fast to hit. Third of the night for Molitor. Henderson stops at second. So the tying run is at second. The run that would win the World Series is at first, and Joe Carter is the batter.
Bottom of the ninth, Game 6 of the World Series, and this is something that, as a little kid, I remember at my father's service station, I was like 8, 9 years old, dreaming of things like that.
Well hit down the left field line, way back and gone! Joe Carter with a 3-run homer. The winners and still world champions, the Toronto Blue Jays.
The sports world is not immune from tragedy, but rarely, if ever, has a single year been so cruel to our emotions. Through the darkness and gloom, we endure. Through the grief, we go on, comforted with our memories, and secure in the knowledge that a new day always dawns, bringing with it new champions, like the ones who captivated us in 1993.